What's up, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the Ryan Ripken Show. No, I'm not Ryan Ripken. I am Zach Bollinger. I will be your host for today as Ryan is still away, but that does not mean the show stops. It just starts 7 minutes late. That's on me. Hand up, that's on me. Was getting a few more things ready, but we're back. Happy Wednesday. It is hump day. And we're getting over the hump with a lot of little things to talk about. Nothing major going on, especially in Major League Baseball. A lot of relievers going off the board, not the highest leverage relievers, but still, we saw some guys like Luke Weaver going to the Mets. We'll get into all of that in a little bit. We've got some predictions on where former Oriole Ryan O'Hearn would go this offseason, as long as we have Lamar Jackson dealing with an illness. A certain Kansas City Chief, great, kind of hints at, I'm not going to be here when it comes to Mahomes and the Chiefs next year. All that and a lot more. Honestly, not a lot more. That's pretty much all we're talking about. I'm going to be honest. That's all we're pretty much talking about. But all that coming up on the Ryan Ripken Show, presented by our friends over at Merit Clubs, meritclubs.com, MERRITT clubs.com. Bunch of promos going through the new year. So get out there and get ready to take on 2026 and be your best self with Merit Clubs. Check out meritclubs.com. But here's where we're going to start. There's some Orioles news, bringing back Albert Suarez, little things. Maverick Handley has cleared waivers. He is back in the organization. But where I wanted to start was on the gridiron, on the football field, and talking a little bit about, as we did yesterday, this massive game on Sunday where the Ravens face off against the New England Patriots on prime time in Baltimore, Sunday Night Football, with a chance to really keep your season alive. But it wouldn't be a Ravens massive game without a little bit of drama. John Harbaugh said that Lamar Jackson was held home today with an illness. We've seen other reports, flu-like symptoms. He had several other guys were held out today, but they're hopeful for them to practice tomorrow. So Lamar Jackson, the flu game. It seems like a once-a-year occurrence that Lamar misses a game, especially, or misses a practice, maybe two, in December, in late November, where you're going, what's going on with Lamar? He deals with an illness every year. But actually, shout out to my guy, Yuri, on Twitter for posting about this. Lamar actually, against the Rams in that big Ravens win, what was that, in 2024? Was that? 2020, was it 23? Yeah, in that 2023 win against the Rams, 37 points put up. Lamar actually missed earlier that week with a flu-like symptoms, with an illness, and he went on in that game to go 24 of 43, 316 yards through the air, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, also accumulated 70 yards on the ground, so 386 total yards and 3 touchdowns. Am I saying it's going to be the same outcome? I don't know, but I would sure hope it does. Sure hope it is. Am I worried about this? No. I don't know if it's because I feel like we deal with this on a yearly basis. I don't know if it's because it feels like, okay, Lamar has overcome this before. If Lamar's out there tomorrow, also Lamar, when was the last time Lamar practiced on a Wednesday? He did it, 2 weeks ago, and then he missed that next Thursday because he got stepped on. But Lamar hasn't been practicing on Wednesdays recently. They'll be giving him extra rest. And we talk about maybe with a win this weekend and a Steelers loss, do you rest him a little bit against the Packers? So I'm not worried. This is not the sky is falling. We'll see what happens the rest of the week, but it is funny. And kind of you see the memes, you see all the jokes making themselves on the internet today about, oh, this is yearly. This is a yearly occurrence for Lamar Jackson. You see the one tweet that always goes viral about Lamar's only fatal flaw is that he has the immune system of an 1800s Victorian child. I mean, the jokes are funny, but I'm not worried. Lamar is going to be out there. Lamar is going to be ready. They will give him a million hydration things if necessary, and he will go out and do what he needs to do. This is too big of a game for him to miss. I don't expect this to impact Lamar at all, and we can actually talk about more about the vibes and feel going into this game tomorrow when we have another special guest. I guess now he would be a recurring guest from the Baltimore Ravens. I'll let you guys think about that, but he will be joining us tomorrow as well to kind of talk about and preview this game coming up, a massive game with massive implications against the New England Patriots. If the Ravens lose this one, even if the Steelers lose, next week becomes a must win. It becomes an absolute must win for the Ravens. So just take care of business at home on prime time, national spotlight. Ravens need to get the job done, and I think it's going to be a very good game. This does not worry me. Do I wish he didn't have the flu-like symptoms or an illness? Yeah, but we've also seen him overcome this multiple times before. I'm not worried. I think we're going to see Lamar out there. It's different if this was on Friday and suddenly, or Saturday, they were like, hey, Lamar has an illness. He's questionable now. Then there would be a little concern. Still got 4 days until the game. I'm sure Lamar's going to be fine. He's going to be out there come Sunday, and we can all move on with that. And hopefully he puts up another flu game because he has a way of playing his best in those moments. Next thing I want to talk about overcoming adversity, bouncing back, the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs will miss the playoffs for the first time in 11 years this season, and it does not stop there. They will be this offseason. The main storyline will be the rehab of star quarterback Patrick Mahomes, generational quarterback, one of the greatest we've ever seen, especially when it comes to winning. Patrick Mahomes coming off a torn ACL. We will see how that impacts things and his status for week 1. But we got a little maybe sneak peek. I don't know, preview of also what it is to come over this offseason on a decision by a certain tight end, Travis Kelce, when he weighed in on the Patrick Mahomes situation on his podcast, New Heights, and he said this. Travis Kelce on Patrick Mahomes' recovery from a torn ACL. He's gonna make sure he comes back stronger than ever. Hopefully, the Chiefs can get him back as soon as possible. And as you see, Underdog points it out in the tweet, ... the Chiefs. This does not sound like a man who's coming back. This sounds like a man who understands that his career is done. He is not coming back next year. This gives big shades to Magic Johnson, that famous "I'm not going to be here" video. It's just weird to say the Chiefs instead of us, or we're excited to get him back. Singling out and being like, hopefully the Chiefs can get him back as soon as possible. It just doesn't word like a guy who is ready to come back, to go another year. And maybe he changes his mind. Maybe this was just a slip up. Maybe he is, he talks to Patrick over the offseason, talks to Andy Reid, and they're like, hey, one more. We're going all in for this next year, 2026, to make it the best send-off possible, yada, yada, yada. Maybe that convinces him to come back. Maybe. I just, at this very moment, this does not read and does not sound like a guy who is coming back next year. It sounds like a guy who is saying, hey, I hope nothing for the best for the Chiefs. I know Patrick Mahomes is going to do what Patrick Mahomes does. He's going to come back better than ever. He's going to be the same guy that we've all come to know and love. But I'm not going to be here. That's how it reads. It reads as a guy who is not coming back. So we'll see what they do. I know a lot of Ravens fans fear that maybe an Isaiah Likely ends up there. I know the whole NFL fears that Kyle Pitts ends up there because we all know he would find that superstar potential form that we've all known he has if he went there. I just don't see Travis Kelce. This seems to be the writing on the wall. It already felt like the writing was on the wall, but this seems to just kind of further confirm it for everyone that it does not look like Travis Kelce will be returning to the Kansas City Chiefs. But we'll see what happens. Obviously, the entire offseason, heck, Tom Brady announced his retirement and came back. Things happen. Guys second-guess decisions. Guys make comebacks. All of that. So we will see how that plays out. But as I said earlier, if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show. We are live at 5 Monday through Friday. A little different this week as Ryan is out of town. So I am just, you're stuck with me. I apologize. But we will be back to a more normal schedule in the future. Big show tomorrow. We have a very fun special guest joining us from the Baltimore Ravens. So stay tuned to figure out who that is. But here we go. Here we go. Let's move into baseball a little bit. So if you haven't seen over the past 24 hours, Bob Nightingale actually just put this out yesterday before Luke Weaver signed with the Mets, which we will get into in a second. Yesterday was a big day for free agent reliever signings. Jordan Romano to the Angels, Drew Pomeranz to the Angels, Chris Martin to the Rangers, Caleb Ferguson to the Reds, Caleb Thielbar to the Cubs, and Jason Foley to the Giants. Are these big names? No. These aren't guys that are going to be the back end of your rotation. Jordan Romano, all-star closer a few years ago with the Blue Jays. They are hoping that he returns to form. I believe that was a 1-year, $2 million contract. So none of these have been big contracts. We'll get into the Luke Weaver deal signing in a moment, but none of these are massive contracts. None of these are big relievers going off the board where you're like, oh, the Orioles missed out, or oh, so-and-so missed out on this. These are guys, a lot of reclamation projects, a lot of older guys here, but the reliever market is heating up. The reliever market is heating up. As I brought up earlier, Luke Weaver, 2-year deal, $22 million, I believe is the official number. So a guy that if you've listened to Ryan, you've listened to me, I thought Luke Weaver was a guy that I would have loved in the 8th inning. You get that bridge of Kittredge to Weaver to Helsley. I thought that worked really well. He's now going to be reuniting with Devin Williams in that super pen in staying in New York, but going to the Metropolitans. And I see, we'll go, Jojo Romero. I've seen a lot of things about him. That would be a very interesting trade choice if you are the Baltimore Orioles. But because of kind of everything that has happened over the past 24-ish hours, I want to take a little bit more of a deep dive into everything that has gone down for relievers this season. As you can see, here are the top-end relievers with the highest AAV that have signed a deal so far this season. Off-season, sorry. Obviously, Edwin Diaz goes from the Mets to the Dodgers. Devin Williams from the Yankees to Mets. Rafael Iglesias stays with the Braves. Robert Suarez goes to the Braves as well. They're building something nice there. Ryan Helsley heading to Baltimore. Tyler Rogers to Toronto. Kenley Jansen to Detroit. Luke Weaver now to the Mets, and so on down the list. So as the year or the offseason has progressed, more and more names, especially those top end guys, are starting to come off the board. Now we'll get into who's available in the next few minutes. But of these guys, it felt like, obviously Gregory Soto, he's someone who spent time in Baltimore, didn't think that he would be back. You look at guys like, Tyler Rogers. I thought that would have been a perfect eighth inning guy in Baltimore. Luke Weaver thought he would be a very nice addition to the bullpen. Heck, Kyle Finnegan, I thought still has a nice repertoire. Wow, that kicked my butt a little bit. I think there were options out there, but clearly I don't know if the Orioles are focused at the moment solely on, hey, we want to go find that starter. We want to go get, that top end guy. Maybe they are looking at a JoJo Romero from the Cardinals in the trade market, but it did feel like these were some guys out there that had potential. So let's now look at who is here. And I see this is actually something that I've seen a lot of. I've talked about, I would love to grab Pete Fairbanks. And funny enough, a reunion with Hunter Harvey is what I was just about to get into as well. There are some guys on here that Pete Fairbanks at the top. This is off of their projected market value. Pete Fairbanks, Nick Martinez, Sir Anthony Dominguez, even though I don't see a reunion happening, he's the one guy, if you followed us throughout the summer, throughout the trade deadline, I said, funny enough, Sir Anthony Dominguez is the one guy that the Orioles traded. It ended up actually happening with Kittredge, where I was like, I could see them getting him back. There was just something about it. I was like, I could see them getting him back. He is still available. Chris Paddock, Pierce Johnson, David Robertson. I mean, I don't think David Robertson signs until late in the season. He's over 40 years old. I think he does exactly what he did last year when he waited until like August to see how things were playing out. And then he signed with the Philadelphia Phillies just so that he could go where he wanted to try to compete for a World Series. Guys like Hunter Harvey, Tommy Kahnle, I know is still a little bit older, but I still really enjoy. I think he is set up for a bounce back. But let's go with Pete Fairbanks to start. One, I think he would fit really well in this clubhouse. He is very openly a big Lego guy. He is kind of that quirky, fun personality. Obviously, we had our moments with the whole Samuel Basallo hit on the hand situation. But I think Pete Fairbanks would fit in this clubhouse really well. Now, the big thing is, does Pete Fairbanks think that, hey, I can be a closer? Because if that's the case, I don't see him being a closer in Baltimore. I think Ryan Helsley is the closer. He's the guy. It just seems like maybe Pete Fairbanks, if he is going to get a bigger deal, if you're paying him the market value projected at $14.6 million a year, it seems like you'd want him to be the closer. So we'll see what he ends up getting, but Pete Fairbanks is a guy I'm looking at. Sir Anthony Dominguez, I mean, we all know him. You love him and hate him at the same time because he can be as dominant as it gets, a big strikeout guy. He's going to go out there and he can get you 3 strikeouts with the bases loaded and get you out of it, or he can give up a home run on the first pitch. I mean, a guy that gets absolutely beat up by the long ball. I just am not sure if he comes back to Baltimore. I mean, we've talked about it with Ryan and all that. There's also just kind of a thing when you get traded from a place, they go out and they trade you. Obviously, it worked out for him. He went to the World Series, but there can be sort of that back of your mind like, hey, you got rid of me. You didn't want me. So we'll see if that impacts anything. But the guy I keep coming back to, Hunter Harvey just seems like a guy that, I mean, he's been here. It's a reunion. He's obviously extremely liked by the clubhouse. Last year, he didn't have anything that was qualified. Averaged 96.1 miles per hour on his fastball velo. Definitely got hit. When he was hit hard with a 92.4 average exit velocity. But expected ERA, 1.59. Expected batting average, 1.89 against. He's got a lot of chase, 31.5 chase percentage, 30.6 whiff percentage. Very good strikeout percentage of 28.2. Walks all the way down to 2.6. He was actually in the 99th percentile of barrel percentage, but once again, he only pitched in 12 games. So it wasn't like he 10 2/3 innings pitched. It wasn't like this is across a massive, stretch. But Hunter Harvey, I mean, he's always had a good fastball. I think he got a little bit beat up in 24. He had a very nice 2023 with all of his metrics. If they were going to go get a guy, for me, I would love Hunter Harvey. Because in my mind, Hunter Harvey's a guy that can pitch in the 7th. He can pitch in the 8th. You can put him in the 6th. That just, to me, Hunter Harvey, he's familiar with the organization. He's got friends still in the organization. I think it would be a comfort for him to come back. I think it would be a little bit of a redemption for him to come back after everything that happened. Obviously, injuries kind of derailed his entire career. He was supposed to be this frontline starter, ends up going to the bullpen and doing very well. But you look at the market value. Now, this is just Spot Track, what they believe. This is not official. That doesn't mean that he's going to get 5.5 to 1 million and that's called a day. We're going to have to figure out what he's going to get. But if we're looking for best bang for your buck, I really like Hunter Harvey. It just feels like he's a guy who can step in, be your 7th inning guy, be a guy you can bring in high leverage, and kind of go from there. Because I did last year, definitely not his best season. 2024, he was much, much more impressive across 50 games. Had a 2.11 ERA in 2024 across 42 2/3. Had a 2.66 ERA in 2023 across 40 2/3. But he had a rough 2025, a 4.43 ERA across 63 innings. You would be kind of paying for a bounce back there. If you're looking at Tommy Kahnle and what you're hoping from him, you're hoping for a bounce back because in 24 and 23, he was very good. He was very good. I mean, 22, the metrics were really good. 20 metrics are really good. 2019, the metrics were really good. So it's up to the Orioles if you're looking for a guy that this is an 8th inning guy. They are going to have to decide, okay, was this a bad year from Kahnle, or was this, he's 36, going to be turning 37 by the time we're mostly through the 2026 season? Is this a guy that it was age that caught up to him, or was it, hey, it was a down year? Because if you think it's just it was just a down year and he can bounce back, 36 as a reliever is not the oldest. I mean, you're getting up there, but at 36, you see guys, I mean, heck, David Robertson on this freaking thing. He's 40. He's going to be 41 by the time the season starts. It wouldn't surprise me if he had a bounce back. 1 year, $5-6 million deal, maybe 7. If I had to pick, I'm going Hunter Harvey, especially because of age. But I think there are guys out there. And the Orioles still need, in my mind, one back-end reliever. One guy you can plug into the 7th or 8th, preferably a guy that can balance and kind of be the bridge, not balance, can be the bridge between Kittredge and Helsley. Jojo Romero, I've seen in the chat, obviously. I've been seeing a lot about him and trading him from the Cardinals because Kittredge, Romero, and Helsley, that was actually the Cardinals 7, 8, 9 just 2 years ago. So we'll see how that happens and how that all goes down. I actually wanted to check out Loizica really fast. Yeah, Loizica definitely not his best year. 24, he had a nice year. 23 was definitely, only 17 games in 23, but metrics looked good. 22, he was very good, but that's another guy you'd be hoping for him to kind of find form again, because across 29 and 2/3 innings last year with the Yankees, a 4.25 ERA, 1.48 whip is not going to get it done. So that's an option out there. That is an option out there. And speaking of options out there, MLB Network earlier today talked about a first base option out there. Now, no, this is not relating to the Orioles and the fact of, they're going to sign this guy, because I think that ship has very much sailed, especially with currently 3 guys sitting on your first base depth chart that all should be getting playing time. And you got to figure out who is going to stay and who is going to go already with Pete Alonso, Ryan Mountcastle, and Kobe Mayo. And spoiler alert, it ain't going to be Pete Alonso who's leaving. So probably moving on from Ryan Mountcastle and or Kobe Mayo. I think realistically it could be both. But Ryan O'Hearn, kind of fan favorite, heartbeat of this team at times in the 2025 season, stuck it out, traded to the Padres to get a chance to win a ring. He's a free agent. And on MLB Network today, they talked about potential landing spots for the veteran first baseman. So listen to these spots, and then we're going to kind of talk about it, because there's one team that's brought up here that I think it kind of fits perfectly for. So let's listen up.
I've been pulling the fire alarm for the Houston Astros to collect left-handed hitters for what, a full calendar year now? It's getting old. You can't have enough, because last year they didn't have anybody when Yordan Alvarez went down. Without Victor Caratini, they had no left-handed presence. Yes, they traded for Jesus Sanchez. Nice, didn't get off to a very good start in Houston, but he was nice. Ryan O'Hearn would fit in nicely there. Just give me every left-handed bat with a pulse and send him to the Space City.
All right.
How about the Pirates?
Go ahead, I'll go last.
How about the Pirates?
Okay.
We've been hearing for weeks about the Pirates are going to spend money. They need, obviously, to bring in hitters. That's been their problem. They got some great young pitchers. They don't have any hitting. They're not going to go out there and sign Kyle Tucker. They're not going to go out there. They made a little run of Schwarber, which was impressive, but I don't see them in the Tucker, Bellinger, Bregman markets. Ryan O'Hearn's a professional hitter. He was an all-star last year. He would be an upgrade. He'd be a middle-of-the-lineup guy in Pittsburgh, and he wouldn't cost what some of those other guys we just talked about are going to cost. I think he'd be a good addition to that lineup.
I'm glad I let you go ahead of me, because you talked about professional hitter, all-star. He needs to be with the Mets. They need a hitter. They need a guy that can hit. That's proven. Don't tell me about all the young kids that are coming and they might be able to do this or that. He is a proven commodity, and he can play first base. He can DH for you. He can do a lot of things for you. They need a proven.
And you're not going to get burned.
Polanco, is that?
You're not going to get burned on that contract either.
Right.
Honestly, that's Kyle Tucker light. It's Kyle Tucker light, meaning contractually speaking, right?
Yeah, he can hit.
I'll take him.
I don't know about the whole Kyle Tucker light thing. I mean, I think Kyle Tucker is incredible. But listen, I love that. I love thinking about Ryan O'Hearn as a New York Met. That fits. I'm also seeing Brewers, that could also be a very nice potential fit for him. I think that would fit what their kind of mantra is of getting these low risk, high reward guys, veteran, professional hitter. The guy just gets the job done. And when you look at the Mets' current depth chart, I mean, obviously Francisco Lindor, now Marcus Semien, Juan Soto, Jorge Polanco is kind of going to slide into that DH role, I guess. They've also said, he's going to be DH first. He should not be their first baseman. Currently, they actually have Fangraphs has Mark Vientos listed as their first baseman. You have Jeff McNeil, Francisco Alvarez, Brett Beatty, Carson Bench coming off the bench, Orioles legend Luis Torrens, Ronnie Mauricio, Luis Angel, Luis Angel, Acuna, and Tyrone Taylor. They need more hitting. The Mets need more hitting, and what they need is more professional batters. They need guys that can get on base, guys that can drive in runs, and guys that can do what Ryan O'Hearn did and has done every year with the Baltimore Orioles. I mean, he was in Kansas City. He jokes about he and Brent Rooker that they were combined a really good hitter or combined a very good player because they were platooning. Brent Rooker and Ryan O'Hearn both go their separate directions. Rooker obviously becoming an all-star in Oakland / Sacramento / Vegas now, and O'Hearn becoming an all-star in Baltimore. But I just think that this makes way too much sense for the New York Mets. Why wouldn't you grab a guy like this? Why wouldn't you want to go out there and add a professional hitter, a guy that you know is going to go out there, play good defense? I mean, I know apparently that's the most important thing to Mets fans of all time. But Ryan O'Hearn last year batted .281, 17 homers, 63 RBIs, 133 hits. He just got the job done. 803 OPS, 125 OPS plus. It's a good hitter. That is a very, very good hitter. So if I'm the Mets, I'm getting this deal done, especially because obviously you have a massive hole with first base with Pete Alonso gone. You're not going to replace that offensive production 1-1. I just think that this makes too much sense. Go get a guy like Ryan O'Hearn. And, I'm looking now at the Brewers depth chart. Do you really think Andrew Vaughn's going to replicate what he did last year? I mean, that would be really cool. I would also, for the Brewers, that's a good fit. And I hear the whole Pirates thing. I think I just personally don't want him to go there because I feel like they are going nowhere anytime soon. And I would like Ryan O'Hearn to continue to see success from maybe not even just a personal level, but from a team. I'd like for him to be on a winning team. But for me, that Mets signing would just make so much sense. They love guys from the AL East. They love guys from the Yankees. They've taken half their bullpen. Why not? I don't know. I just feel like that makes too much sense for the New York Mets right now. Go out there, get a guy who is going to consistently get on base, that is going to consistently produce for you. He's incredible in the clubhouse. Everyone that has ever said anything about Ryan O'Hearn has nothing but great things to say, especially about Ryan O'Hearn, the person. Go get him. I mean, I'm just, checking out right now what do they think he's going to get it on Spot Track? They're saying he gets market value about $11 million. So Cody Bellinger, he can play first. That's an option for the Mets. I think that would also fit them well. But Ryan O'Hearn is the best true first baseman available on the market now. At this point, I'm putting him above Paul Goldschmidt, putting him above, obviously, Rhys Hoskins, Miguel Andujar. I think he plays third base mostly, but he's the best true first baseman. He can DH for you, and he's been good at DHing. For me, this is where I'm going if I'm the Mets. If I have to make the move, you got to fill in that role for Pete Alonso. Go get Ryan O'Hearn. It's probably going to produce a lot more than some of the guys that they would spend a lot more money on. Get a solid producer in the middle of that lineup and go from there. I don't know. Something about that makes sense to me. Yes, I see the Brewers. I'm looking at their depth chart right now. Rhys Hoskins gone, so you have to fill that void. I don't know. I just really, really, really enjoy the thought of Ryan O'Hearn playing in New York. I know the Astros also, they talked about the Astros. I could see Houston. What do you do with the Christian Walker? Obviously, Isaac Paredes. I don't know where you go from there. I think it's too cluttered in Houston. I just don't think they have room right now, unless they're trading guys like Christian Walker, like Isaac Paredes. I just don't see that working out as well as it could elsewhere. I don't think that fit is as natural. I think he would produce a lot in the juice box, that small stadium, especially, he can use the whole field. I think he could get a few over the left field wall and, very short porch there. But I think, pulling the ball, I think he'd get a lot of quote unquote cheaper home runs as well. I just think, I don't know. I'm kind of, if I'm going all in on where I think Ryan O'Hearn would go, it's probably in my mind the best fit would be the New York Mets. It's just my 2 cents. So if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. A shorter show today, but we will be back with more than just me tomorrow. We'll be back in studio. We have a very fun guest. Now recurring guest after tomorrow. We'll be joining to help talk about the game this Sunday between the Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers, the New England Patriots. I'm already focused on week 18. We can't get ahead of ourselves. Win on Sunday and then go from there. So appreciate all of you. Hit that like and subscribe button. Also shout out to our friends over at Merit Clubs, MERRITT clubs.com. I'll answer this real fast. I just don't see how he fits. I don't see how Judon fits in Baltimore. I just don't think that it works out right now. I think he has 0 sacks on the year. I think his production has kind of plummeted. But we'll see. Maybe if they think that he is more productive than Ojabo, that's the only job I see him taking. But that's about it. I'm not sure if he fits, but that would be that'd be a fun for vibes, a fun reunion. But we'll get into all of that and much more tomorrow on our big show. We'll probably be doing our usual hour and a half, 2 hours tomorrow. Special guest joining at 6 p.m. sharp tomorrow. So tune in. We will be live at 5, not starting tomorrow, but tomorrow we'll be live at 5. You know what? Just have a great Wednesday. That's all we're going to end on. Have a great Wednesday. We'll be back tomorrow. And have a fantastic rest of your night. Peace.